This is the fact, and here's the other thing. People say, well, Scott, it's a war that was started by Russia. So no matter how inefficient this is, we're at least trying to do something to stand up against Russian aggression. Wrong answer. This is a war that was created by NATO, by the United States, by the Ukrainian government, that was foisted upon Russia and the Russian people. Russia has done everything in its power to bring this war to a conclusion. Russia started this war for the sole purpose of getting the Ukrainians to the negotiating table. They almost had a peace deal. This is something that every one of your listeners needs to understand, that in March of 2022, Russia and Ukraine had signed a peace agreement. Now let's talk about what that peace agreement would have been had it been concluded on 1 April. Forget about the details for a second. Over 300,000 Ukrainian men would still be alive today. Think about that. Chew on that. Hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian men who have lost their arms, their legs, their eyes, their brains, their ability to function normally would be able to be regular, good members of society, able to support their families, etc. Millions of children who currently are now in refugee status, who are getting education on a shoestring in a foreign country away from their homes. If you think about all the promoters of education here at home in America, what's the one thing they say that's probably the most important aspect of being able to successfully educate your children? That is a stable family environment. Without a stable family environment, it's impossible to educate your children because there are too many distractions to them. So if they had signed a peace deal, millions of Ukrainian children would be getting the kind of education one needs to grow into adulthood and succeed as an adult. Millions of Ukrainian women are being condemned to a life of perpetual poverty and indentured servitude. And much of that indentured servitude will be done in support of the sex industry in Europe and abroad. These women are being compelled to leave their country. They go into a foreign land where they have no skill set other than their looks, and they get involved in the sex industry, usually against their will. Human trafficking is a huge problem. Ukraine is one of the major sources of human trafficking because of this conflict. We could go on and on and on about what is befallen Ukraine, all of which would have come to a screaming halt on 1 April 2022 had Ukraine signed a peace deal. Now, what were the Russians offering? I mean, let's think about it for a second. The Russians were saying that Zaporizhia, Kherson, two of the oblasts that today are part of Russia, Russia has annexed them through a referendum, Russia would have said, oh, those belong to Ukraine. The Donbass, Lugansk and Donetsk, rather than being part of Russia, Russia said they will be independent and we will allow them, once this conflict is ended, to go through an internationally monitored referendum to decide their fate. Do they stay independent? Do they become return to Ukraine? Do they go to Russia? Crimea, Russia said that while it is Russia, we will have a referendum on, to what extent Ukraine will continue to be able to play a role in Crimea. The government of Ukraine, you get to be the government you want to be. Russia's not dictating your composition. Ukrainian military, we just need you to get rid of the NATO equipment, but not all NATO equipment, but we just need to guarantee that you're not going to attack us. That's all. We want you to be neutral and you can't be a part of NATO. But all of your industry, and that's the other thing, $1 trillion of infrastructure damage has been done to Ukraine. $1 trillion. Their industry has been gutted. That would all be viable today. Ukraine would be able to become a viable economic partner to Europe, to Russia, to whomever. And Russia wasn't dictating outcomes. Russia was saying, we understand that you're concerned about your security, so we're willing to promote Ukraine getting security assurances from the United States, from Germany, from France, from Russia, from anybody to guarantee your security. We're willing to do all of that. We just need you to say you're not going to join NATO because we're not going to let you join NATO. because joining NATO is an existential threat to us, one that we're willing to go to war over. And Ukraine was on the cusp of signing this thing when Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of England, flew in and told him on behalf of NATO, if you sign that, we walk away from you. We don't have anything to do with you. We're done with you. But we believe that you can continue this war and win this war, and we're willing to give you hundreds of billions of dollars worth of military equipment to do it. And Zelensky, the idiot, went, that's it. Tear up the peace treaty. We're going with NATO. They made the wrong choice. And now they are where they are today. But the American people need